So if you look at this problem, if we start off the same way, we get 2 cubed minus 8 over 2 minus 2. We immediately see 2 minus 2 as a 0. That kind of makes us think it's going to be a trouble. And 2 cubed is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. So now we have a situation. We've got 0 over 0. Remember, this is called the indeterminate form, meaning we can't determine what the value of this is, what the value of the limit is. So what can we do to this? Well, when you look at this, the denominator, there's nothing we can do with it. But in the numerator, we can factor that numerator. What does the factored form of the numerator look like? Well, if you go back and look back at some factoring techniques, it's a technique that we learned that we called SOAP, for factoring a difference of squares. That was our acronym anytime we were factoring a difference of squares, difference of cubes, my apologies, difference of cubes. And how do we determine that? Well, we look at the binomial that we have, and we want to find the cube root of the first thing, which is x. It's going to be the same sign, that's where the s comes from, minus the cube root of the second number. The cube root of 8 is 2. Okay, so that's the first part. Now what's left over when we do that? For the next part, we have a trinomial. And now we will only look at the binomial up here. We will square the front, x squared. The O stands for the opposite sign, so since it was minus, we changed the sign to plus. We multiply just these two numbers together, not the sign, 2 and x. We get 2x. The last sign is always positive, the AP, always positive. We square the 2, and we get 4. So now we've factored that. What does that allow us to do? Well, now if we look, we can see that we've got common factors in the numerator and the denominator. We can take that x minus 2 and cancel it with that x minus 2. So now we can simplify this problem to the limit as x approaches 2 of x squared plus 2x plus 4. And now try to plug in again. If we plug in the numbers there, we get 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 4. And that's 4 plus 4 plus 4, so we get an answer of 12. So our final answer is 12 for this particular problem. Now, we couldn't figure that out by just plugging in to begin with, but we do here now. So what does that tell you graphically about this function? What would you expect to happen to this function as x gets close to the number 2? It should be approaching the number 12. So if you were to graph this now, you should look at it around 2, and it should be getting close to the number 12. If you look at it numerically, if you look at numbers around 2, you'll see numbers that are getting close to 12, but you'll also see that at x equals 2, the number 12 is not there. You get an error. So the function is not defined at 2, but nonetheless the limit is 12.